Well, I hope that you're ready for some unindoctrination because we got it coming to you wall to wall and tree top tall tonight. I know you've been enjoying the conversations with John Lamb Lash. A little bit of a change tonight. We're not going to be talking about conversations that never happened. We're going to make a shift and go in and talk about the Mandela effect. It's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very powerful. And then, of course, we will have your calls as well. And, you know, I just want to make a statement and give you a graphical representation of where we are today in the United States of America. And I think throughout other places within the world, too. Most of you are, at least kind of know my wife, know how sweet she is, know how kind she is, know how loving she is. And I went and got the mail today. Because we live in a gated community and the mail doesn't come to the houses. You go down to the main place and get it. And we have our firearms, so we're protected in that way. But we also, I get these and I pulled these out of the mail today. And you're like, what the heck is this? Well, this is the sheath for these two really big his and hers. Well, let me just instead of telling you, why don't I just show you? This is his and hers. Let me get that. I got to get it out of the sheath, ladies and gentlemen. It's his and hers. These. Now that's a knife, ladies and gentlemen. And that baby, I mean, you talk about razor sharp. I'm talking about razor sharp. This is a Walking Dead shit right here. And when my lovely, kind, sweet wife is ordering his and hers these things, she says that they've gone and pissed off the people that just wanted to be left alone. And they have. If you're one of them, you have no idea what you're starting. And you need to know that we have an idea of how to finish. Let's go ahead and stop the insanity right now. How about that? Let's go ahead and stop the insanity right now. How about that? Give us back our divinity. Give us back our sovereignty. Give us back our freedom. And everything will be A-OK. Now, before we go, some of you that are very observational, some of you that are very observe. Anyway, people that notice things. I do too, Tenebris, but this is just an addition. A gherkin knife from Nepal. Is that what that is? Oh, okay, cool. Stephanie, you got to listen. We've got the Glocks, but guess what? We got the Glocks Plus now. Now, some of you that have great powers of observation, some of you are saying, they do go perfectly with black bats. Those of you that are observant will notice that there's something different about my glasses tonight. There's something a little different about my glasses. They're still great computer glasses. They still protect my eyes from the blue light of the computer. But there's something different about these glasses. What could it be? Oh, shit, look at that. On the side of these glasses, it says what? Unindoctrinate. So what I got here is some custom logo, unindoctrinate computer glasses. How about that, baby? So you can go to jeffreydaugherty.com and you can see the photo of me there in profile. Just click on the thing that says buy now. $20. See, they live. Tom, I knew you would know. Let me show you the ad. Tom, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you said that because my lovely wife is like, well, what does that mean? Nobody's going to know. She wasn't being nasty about it, but she says, what does that mean? Nobody's going to know. And Tom, I am so glad that you made me look good because everybody should know. Not everybody, but at least one body was thinking along the same lines I am. So here's the jeffreydaugherty.com. And we've got, if you go down here, oh, look, there's the ad we're talking about. And look what it says. We live because it kind of looks like the we live, right? Instead of the dark, it's light and we can see. So we live, not they live, we live, ladies and gentlemen. We live. Computer blue light glasses, $20 in the USA only, in the USA only, in the USA only, in the USA only. It's the only place I can sell them to you because, I mean, they're not Swanwick, they're not $100 glasses, and the postage would be prohibitive towards getting you a decent deal. So if you're in the United States and you want to get these glasses, they're great for you. If you're not wearing them, you need to. And they say unindoctrinate right on the side. And you can buy now right there, and we'll ship them to you in a nice box. We give you a nice little black bag, and you're going to love them. So there they are, the unindoctrinate. We live computer blue light glasses, just $20. We appreciate you all very, very much. And we also want to remind you before we get started that we are brought to you by the Nanosoma. What are you waiting for? Nanosoma doesn't heal anything in and of itself, but when you put it into your body, this remarkable little particle will optimize your body to heal everything. And especially now with the Fauci ouchie and with the shedding that we're concerned with, now's the time to get yourself some Nanosoma. Do it now. Order it. Go to jeffreydaugherty.com. Click on the Nanosoma logo and get yourself some Nanosoma. Next Tuesday night, we will have Richard Presser, Dr. Richard Presser from Nanosoma, and we're going to directly address the Fauci ouchie. We're going to directly address the shedding, and we're going to directly address the optimization. Great week next week. Monday night, we've got Alan Albert III, science fiction writer, talking about the Allen paradigm shift and the power of comics. Tuesday night, Richard Presser talking about Nanosoma, the Fauci ouchie, and shedding. Wednesday night, our own Svetlana Marksimova will be here to talk about escaping communism and how to find true spiritual freedom. Thursday night, what do we got Thursday night? I forgot what we got Thursday night, but it's very, very exciting. Thursday night, we've got come on, Jeff, get over there. Thursday night, oh, did you guys like Bill Lee, the Bigfoot guy? He's back. Thursday night, Bill Lee, not from a burner phone in the middle of a forest somewhere. No, he'll be in front of a computer. And we'll actually be able to see him. We'll actually be able to hear him. And he's going to talk to us again about Bigfoot or the Sasquatch people. And then Friday night, we're back here again with John Lamb Lash. Ladies and gentlemen, what a week we have coming up. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. So, without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, John was previously engaged. He was not able to be here with us on Friday night. So instead of just canceling the show, what we did is we went ahead and pre-recorded a great interview with John Lamb Lash. And what I'm going to do is play that interview for you right now. And I will be here with you in the chat, and we will be able to take advantage of a great interview with John Lamb Lash. But you just have to pretend that and forget that I'm really here because, look, I'm wearing a different jacket and everything. So what we're going to do is go ahead and get into this. And I'm telling you, folks, you may think you understand the Mandela effect. You ain't never, ever heard this before. It's gonna be freaking crazy. You will not believe what he has to say about the Mandela effect. And he is right, and he proves it. And OMG, ladies and gentlemen. And without any further ado, let's just jump right into this biatch. What do you say? Let's go ahead. Yeah, fire the I thought about putting on the same jacket, but I said, it's not worth it. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get this party started. And I think that you are going, you just got to hear it. It's unreal. So are you ready to be unindoctrinated? Well, here we go. Well, I hope you're ready for some unindoctrination because we've got it coming to you wall to wall and treetop tall. It's Friday night. That must mean it's late night in the heartland. That must mean it's another visit from John Lamb Lash. John Lamb Lash is one of the great, if not the greatest, Gnostic scholar that we have left with us today. But not many of you people know that he's one of the early and deepest thinkers on the Mandela effect. Now, usually this show's about what I think, and of course that's based on now over 40 years of experience across the spiritual spectrum. But tonight, we want to find out what one of the great thinkers of our time believes concerning this effect. So, John, welcome to the channel. Let's talk about the Mandela effect.
Indeed, let's do. It was a massive phenomenon. I think you would agree on that.
Absolutely.
And it built in a wave. I actually came into it in 2016, and I developed my talks on it the following year at the time when the wave was peaking. So I rode in on the crest of the wave, you could say. And it was quite an experience for me. So shall I tell you how I got into it?
Yeah, please do, because I got into it kicking and screaming. George Norrie actually kind of put me onto it and said, hey, come back and do a show. So I reluctantly looked at it. So and wound up at least writing a book on it. That doesn't mean I knew anything, but I at least learned some things. So John, please share with us what you found, and maybe someday we'll compare and contrast our notes and findings on it together.
Well, I believe it would be helpful to listeners to know that starting in 2003, I began to investigate how to communicate with the intelligence of the Earth in a systematic and methodical way. And of course, it's quite common for some people to say, Mother Earth, nature, she speaks to me, and so forth and so on. But I'm not talking about a vague kind of possibly telepathic connection with the Mother Earth. I'm talking about a methodical manner of reaching her, communicating, confirming that the communication is true, confirming the source, and so on. So I had been working on that along Gnostic lines since 2003, and since 2008, I was teaching what I had learned and showing other people how to make the same connection. And it was due to that background work that in 2016, when I encountered the Mandela effect, I was able to interpret it because I had a long background of over a dozen years working in this field. So I had seen suggestions come up in my subs. They started to come up at the beginning of the year. Oh, Mandela effect, Mandela effect. And I never looked at any of them until June of 2016. And the minute I clicked on the first ever video regarding the Mandela effect, I would say that I knew within 2 minutes what it was, based on coming from this previous body of experience. It's really important for listeners to know that's the way it came to me. I was, in a way, I had prepared myself to comprehend what it was the moment it appeared. So I knew what I was investigating, and my situation was typical of anyone investigating in a scientific manner. You begin with an hypothesis. I had my hypothesis in 2 minutes after looking at the first Mandela effect. But then I had to prove my hypothesis. That's what they call QED, what is to be demonstrated. And so then I spent from June that year until February of 2017 investigating and working out the research. And then in February of 2017, from February through October, I presented the whole enchilada. I did that in about 70 talks on the internet. So we're talking about 80 or 90 hours. And I also provided text to back it up, to back up my research. The text that I accumulated during that time amounts to about a 200-page book. So that's the summary of my work on the Mandela effect.
Well, that's fascinating, John. It makes me even more anxious to hear what is the result of all of that research and contemplation. Let us have it.
Well, I'll tell you how I laid out my investigation in order to prove my hypothesis. Or shall I just tell you my hypothesis in the first place? That would be a fun place to start.
It would be.
As soon as I detected this phenomenon, I was certain that it was proof that the intelligence of the earth itself, the living intelligence of the earth mother, that entity, the body of the planet, was actually hacking into human intelligence.
Wow.
And so I called it the mother hack.
Wow. Well, John, I knew that you would have something that I've never considered before, and I'm not disappointed, and we just got started.
So we're on a roll. Let's see if we can keep it up. So the mother hack, what is the mother hack? Well, I ascertained that the living intelligence of the earth, which is capable of communicating in a specific and provable way to human subjects, was taking a huge leap in communication, and that she was actually hacking into an archonic system, the internet, and she was planting clues and signals in that system for people to notice, to bring wider attention to the fact that they could communicate with her.
Wow.
It was an outreach project. You see?
I do. I'm enthralled.
So I said, how on earth am I ever going to prove this? How on earth am I ever going to substantiate my hypothesis? So I set out extremely methodically. And the first thing I did when I began to talk about it in February of 2017, that's when I created Mandela Effect Decoded, the YouTube channel, was that I said, look, I'm going to do this systematically, scientifically. And here are 4 papers that are explaining my methodology. So one of those papers explained that I was going to take the items of the Mandela effect, or attributed to it, on an item by item basis. I was going to look at each individual one of them. And in total, I think I covered about 85 instances.
Wow.
Yeah. And I made a point that I was going to set up the investigation with certain parameters and protocols. And I was going to determine, first of all, which effects were genuine and which were spurious, which were not credible. And I put a great deal of effort into that distinction, okay? Because some Mandela effects were really wild and unsubstantiated. I was only interested in those that I could substantiate. So I set it up that way. Then I established my decoding protocols, I call them. And the primary protocol I just mentioned. How can you tell a genuine effect if this is really a signal coming into the field of the human mind through the internet of a supernatural agency, which I have identified? How can you tell which are the genuine signals coming from that agency and which are merely the result of speculation and confusion? There were a lot of alleged Mandela effects that I found to be not genuine. And I based the criterion of genuine on one very simple feature: residuals. The term residuals was used in the community at that time.
Right.
And the residuals meant that if you had a case like Interview with a Vampire, Interview with the Vampire, there were 2 cases. There were 2 different memories of the title of that book and film. Well, the current memory, what I call the current memory, is the one that everyone or most people appear to remember now, which was Interview with the Vampire. But I didn't remember that. I remembered Interview with a Vampire. And so
I do
did
too, John.
others. Yeah,
I
and
do
so did
too.
many
That's
others.
my memory. A vampire.
Right. And so we had to go back then and find if there was any solid residual evidence that it had been a vampire and not the vampire. And there was residual evidence. Wow. There was evidence on book covers. There was evidence on Oscar presentations where someone named the film as competing in the Oscars and they said, a vampire. So over and over again, I said, I'm not going to consider any alleged Mandela effects unless there is solid residual evidence of them, okay? Then I explained how I broke down all the Mandela effects that were being discussed at that time into different categories. And here were the categories. Film and TV dialogue, things that people said or didn't say. Movie book titles, like the one we just mentioned, right?
Right.
A very outstanding Mandela effect. Song lyrics. People were claiming that song lyrics changed. Well, I wanted to see if I could find proof that there was evidence of the previous song lyric compared to what is considered today to be the standard or remembered song lyric, okay? Celebrity names. Was it Sally Field or Sally Fields? Right? Product names of Looney Tunes or Fruit Loops, things like this. How was Looney Tunes spelled? And things like this. Corporation logos. I'll get back to that in a moment. And then there were other cases which I didn't investigate so much because there was an enormous wealth of material at the time. As I said, the phenomenon was peaking when I came on board. So geographical changes, changes in maps, anatomical changes. The heart had moved from the left side of the body to this more to the center. Do you remember that one?
I do remember that one.
Yeah. Strange animals appearing, sharks appearing that had anatomy that had never been investigated before, certain astronomical events, and last but not least, biblical text.
Right.
So those were my categories, and I couldn't possibly cover all those categories. So I concentrated on the ones where I was confident of finding residuals, because without a residual, there is no genuine case to investigate. Then I really got hit between the eyes in the first week that I started to investigate, because I saw that there was one category of Mandela effect that was outstanding above all others. And it concerned the change in the emblems of cars.
Ah.
The emblems, right?
Yes.
So you have on your car an emblem that marks the manufacturer of your car. And it so happened that in the front of all the incidents of the Mandela effect, it appeared that there were two outstanding cases. People were saying, look at the Volkswagen emblem. I don't remember it being that way. I don't remember it having a gap between the V above and the double V below. That was my memory. I don't remember it having a gap. But other people only remembered it having a gap, which is the way that you see it today. And then the other one was the Ford logo. Now the Ford logo imitates the handwriting or signature of Henry Ford. And apparently when he crossed the F, like you cross the T, he just made a stroke across the F. That is the Ford emblem that I remember. But now, everywhere you look in the world, the Ford cross, the little line that crosses the F, has a pigtail in it. It has a little curl in it. It's not just a bar or stroke. So I thought, wait just a minute here. Holy moly. We're not talking about some kind of manipulation of the internet where somebody or some agency hacked into the internet and in a way changed the information, rewrote the data. We're talking about solid steel and iron material emblems.
Now, John, are you telling me that you and other people remember that the Ford logo did not have that little curly Q at the end of it? It was just a straight stroke across the F?
That's what I remember.
Wow. Now that I don't remember. That's fascinating to me.
So I thought, wow, this is something, because this implies that whatever bizarre or occult agency might be behind the Mandela effect is capable of inducing changes in iron and steel. And so I went looking for residuals, and I found them. There were people who sent in photographs of engine blocks of Fords that had the Ford name printed on it without the pigtail in the signature.
Wow.
Solid residual evidence. Likewise, there were people who were turning up residual evidence of Volkswagen emblems that they actually possessed, or that they had photographs of, or that they found glimpses of in films in which there was no gap. Now I thought, this is heavy duty shit, man. How can this be? Right?
Absolutely. And John, it's interesting. I lived in Germany for 3 years back in the 80s, and I can remember the VW logos that I saw in Germany, no gap.
That's right, no gap. But now if you go around car lots and you look at Volkswagens, they all have gaps.
Yeah. Wow.
What kind of agency could have done that? So I started to look at what I call the Ford VW cluster, and I put it down on a page as if you were putting two pieces of a jigsaw puzzle together. And then I built a cluster of other clues around that central pair. And when I was investigating it, I realized, first of all, I thought, well, wait a minute. If someone is signaling through this effect, they could change the emblems of many different brands of cars.
Right.
Why would they choose these two?
Oh, boy.
You see where I'm going?
I don't know if you're going where I'm thinking, but is there a reason that maybe those two logos were affected when you have the connection, very strong philosophical, and maybe even a having met connection between the two men that are associated with those logos and the creation of them?
Well, as far as I know, they didn't meet, Jeffrey, but they certainly knew of each other, and they one of them had the picture of the other on his wall.
He did.
One of them was rewarded a Medal of Honor by the other. They were both featured as Man of the Year in Time magazine in the 1930s, and they both shared one very deep common interest.
Absolutely.
And one very deep common conviction. They shared the conviction that there was an evil cabal operating on this planet through politics, through academia, through all the institutions of society, and they were both intent upon exposing that evil cabal and opposing it. Right?
John, you've just caused my spirits to soar just in a few minutes, because if in fact you're right, and the mother hack, one of the leading features of the mother hack featured those two guys, I would extrapolate, I know it's your time, but I'm extrapolating that the mother hack must have wanted us to have our attention drawn to the things that these two guys were trying to tell us and warn us about.
Exactly.
Damn, that's amazing. Please keep going. I'll try to shut up.
Right. One element of the Mandela effect
Damn.
was a warning. It was a warning us about something. So I started with the Ford VW duo of puzzle pieces, And then I looked at other Mandela effects, and once I had determined that they were genuine and I examined them, I found that they also resonated or correlated to that same warning.
Wow.
For instance, I noticed.
Please do tell.
Well, I noticed, first of all, I have to tell you this because this is the most wonderful part. The word logo, L-O-G-O, we know what that means.
Yes.
But what is the plural of the word logo?
Logos.
And what is the logos?
Logos is the revealed word, knowledge.
Right. In Christian theology, logos is that, but in Gnostic theology, logos is the planetary logos.
It is, isn't it?
Mind
it's
of
the planetary knowledge. Wow. Logos, logos defined in Gnostic terms is the mind of the planet. Is that true?
That's exactly correct.
Okay.
And so by the fact
notes, John.
Yeah, by the fact that there were two logos making up the word logos or logos told me that I was on the right track when I was identifying the source as the mind of the planet itself.
Wow.
Yes, it was quite a thrill. So then I noticed that there was this German thing going on. For instance, there were allusions to Germany and Germans. For instance, there was one Mandela effect. It was about the Haas avocado. Was it spelled H-A-A-S or H-A-S-S?
Yes.
Now, I remember it spelled H-A-A-S, and I bought many Haas avocados in the health food store. But wait a minute. Just look at those two clues for a moment. By the way, I'm going to invite you to enjoy the fact that this hack was playful and mischievous.
One might even say audacious, John.
It was very audacious, but it was also playful with spelling. Spelling is casting a spell. Spelling is witchcraft. She was using, at the aeonic level, her form of witchcraft, which is benevolent and playful because that is how she is as a goddess. So look at H-A-S-S, Haas or Haas, H-A-A-S. What does that resonate? Well, first of all, SS is in the other spelling.
Yes.
SS is a German Q, right?
Yep.
And the word Hass in German means hate. Who have we been told to hate more than anyone else in the world?
The Germans.
The Germans, right? So then it went on, and I built up what I call a supercluster.
John, let me just interject this too. I'm sure you thought of it, but you know, I spoke German almost fluently for a while, and I didn't see that I didn't see that part, which is amazing. But the German word for house is only one word off of both of those variant spellings of the avocado.
That's right. And what is
the
our
home
house?
of it is Germany, H-A-U-S.
That's right. And what is the house? The house of humanity is the earth.
It is.
So she was punning. She was playing with words and phonemes. There was another Mandela effect that took people, blew them completely away, which was the E.T. one. E.T. phone home. You know, from the film by Steven Spielberg. By the way, Spielberg came up a lot in the Mandela effects. You could say that the warning was pointing to Spielberg also.
So Spielberg as perhaps a placeholder for some group that maybe we could theorize that, possibly.
Well, Spielberg as a propagandist, he not only made propaganda films about ETs, and there you have the ET UFO connection of Gnosticism, but he also made propaganda films about the Germans and about the Holy Grail. So
man, the whole thing's right there.
The whole thing is right there.
Wow.
So when I saw this ET clue, when it said ET phone home or home phone. Well, what is a homophone? Well, a homophone is a word that sounds just like something different, like a bar is a homophone. It's something that you strike someone with, or it's a place you go to drink.
Right.
So it cued me that she was playing with homophones, playing with spelling, and you had to be clever and playful in order to get what she was doing in transmitting her message. Okay?
Absolutely fascinating. We're talking with John Lamb Lash. We are discussing the Mandela effect. And I already feel embarrassed for the silly little book that I wrote about it. This is so, so deep and in depth. And yet there's a little grain of truth that I did manage to stumble across, I think. And I'm enjoying watching you and listening to you flesh it out. John Lamb Lash, please continue.
I'll give you a couple of other stunning examples. I'm only talking now about the first supercluster. I detected 3 superclusters, 3 distinct messages coming through the Mandela effect, which were constellated in dozens and dozens of clues, which all referred to each other and worked together coherently to present the message. So in the Ford VW supercluster, there was a warning about master race theory and genocide. Where did that come from? Well, there was a reference to the film Thunderball. No, the reference to the film Moonraker, the James Bond film.
James Bond.
And that had to do with the guy who had the braces. He had the metal braces. And then there was the girl who had the braces. But in some versions of the film, she didn't have the braces. Again, this is a metallic substitution.
Oh, it is.
This is very, very seriously getting into the recognition of an agency that can spontaneously change matter. Now, who would that be? Who would that be in Gnostic terms? It's obviously the Aeonic Mother herself. You are living in her material body. She changes matter constantly. She can control and manipulate matter. So in that film, Moonraker, if you go and read the plot, it was all about an attempt of an evil villain to implement a eugenics genocidal program upon the earth. That was the plot of Moonraker.
It was. Okay. I remember the movie.
So there are several clues relating to Moonraker, but here's one that you're really going to love. When I was a kid, I used to watch I Love Lucy. Now that's a reference to the second supercluster, which is the Lucy supercluster. I'll get to that in a moment.
This is my big one, John, that you're about to talk about. This is my big one.
Okay, Lucy Lucifer, all that jazz. I Love Lucy. And she's got some splaining to do.
I know.
Well,
I heard him say it 100 times, John.
Right. But you know what the Mandela effect said?
He said
everyone who watched that show thought that her husband, Desi Arnaz, said, Lucy, you've got some splaining to do. But when they went back to try to find the show or episode where she said that, she never said it. But she's saying it in the Mandela effect.
She's doing the splaining.
She's doing the splaining. That's right.
And you know what came to my mind just a minute? I think this was early 80s. Maybe it's too early, but you remember the Madonna song, We're Living in a Material World and I'm a Material Girl?
Yes.
Just an interesting little throw in there.
Madonna, as far as I know, didn't come into the Mandela effect, but there are many clues that I missed. I only managed to cover about 85 of the specific instances I'm giving you now, but get this one. Hold on to your seat. I watched the show, and the star of the show was Lucille Ball.
Right.
Gnostics today, in the living Gnosis today, you encountered the teaching that says that the earth is a luminous body and it emanates something called the organic light. And this is provable and testable. This is not New Age make-believe. So If the Earth is a radiant body, then it is a Lucille ball.
Oh, my.
But it gets better. What was her last name? Now, here I'm going to test you on your memory. What was her last name? What was her husband's name? Desi?
Ricardo, right?
No, Desi.
Oh, Desi Arnaz.
No, that's the Mandela effect. If you now look, it's Desi Arnaz.
No.
Yes, it is.
Wow.
So you have two effects. The one I remember, Desi Arnaz, and the one that you find today, if you go back and you look at clips, it says Desi Arnaz. It was never Desi Arnaz. Are you kidding me?
No, it wasn't.
This is so screaming in your face. But decode it. What is it screaming? Well, look at the name Arnaz, which is typical of Spanish.
Yep.
And he was Cuban, right?
Mm-hmm.
Martinez, Rodriguez, it makes sense on the basis of evidence that his name would have been Arnaz. Okay? But look at the second part of the name, Nez. She plays tropes in different languages. What is Nez? Well, it's the French word for nose.
Oh.
Right?
I'm going to take your word for that one because I don't know, but I know that you wouldn't steer me wrong on that.
N-E-Z, a pince nez is the glasses that pinch on your nose.
That's amazing. Okay? Also, it's nose, and there's another play on words, nose versus nose.
Well, nose or nez, hold on, nez versus naz. Yes, indeed.
Wow.
She's saying it's nez, and we're not talking about the Gnostic nose here. We're talking about the other nose.
Yes.
What ethnic group in the entire world? Well, Italians, Sicilians have big noses. But so what ethnic group?
Schnoz and Nas.
Right.
You got to be kidding me, John Lamb Lash. This is crazy.
This is provable evidence, and it's only the beginning. I can only give you a smattering of these things that I discovered.
And of course, NAZ is one letter short of the racial epithet that people use for the Germans.
Right. So the signal is coded to say, look over there at the nez, the nose, the noses, and look over there at the nas, and that's the game. Get with it. Wow. Get with the true narrative. Right? I tell you.
You are blowing my... This is fabulous. I've never heard anything remotely like this before in all of my 40 years of playing around in this.
Okay, I'm going to very quickly jump from there. I could talk, obviously, for another hour and a half about the first supercluster. Let me go to the second supercluster. In the second supercluster, the supernatural agency behind this phenomenon brought the world's attention to herself. Lucy, the true Lucifer, is Sophia. She is the light. She is the living light of the earth. Did you know that and so that goes to Peanuts. It goes to the Peanuts cartoon series in which there were embedded certain clues, right? And particularly there's a clue from the life of Charles Schulz, where he said that when he was in the Second World War, he was in a situation where he was face to face with an evil you-know-what.
Yep.
And he had the option to pull the gun, pull the trigger on that evil creature. And he couldn't because he didn't have any ammo in his gun. He only had peanuts. Well, that's my joke. But
boom.
Right. Okay. Lucy von Pelt. Well, what is a pelt? What is very like a lamb? What has the pelt of a furry, white, soft animal? That is one way to describe the organic light. Ooh. The other one, you say, the other one was Berenstein Bears. People were going out of their mind over Berenstein Bears. So when I investigated Berenstein Bears, I found out that there was a phenomenon of science discovered by a man called Harris Bernstein, which was called amber mutation. Well, to those of us in the Gnostic community, we already know about the amber mutation. In other words, the signals brought up some things that were only known to people in the living Gnosis today and people who have read the Nag Hammadi. There were direct references to the Nag Hammadi in the clues. So amber stain refers to the behavior of the radiant white light of the earth. When she detects the presence of those who recognize her, she flushes into an amber color.
I did not know that, John.
Well, very few people do, but it is a fact, and it has been proven and can be experimentally reproduced.
So, John, let me just make sure I'm understanding. The organic light, which is typically opalescent, translucent, when she recognizes you recognizing her, she tends to blush and it turns a little amber?
That's exactly true.
Damn, that's amazing.
Amber stain. Berenstain bears. The Berenstain is the amber of her stain. So the second group, which I call the Lucy supercluster, which contains mirror, mirror on the wall.
Oh.
Here we go. Who's the fairest of them all? Well, the answer coming from a living Gnosis today is that the organic light is the fairest of them all, because it is the most beautiful thing that any human being can ever behold. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? That was a really big Mandela effect. And I developed that extensively, but let me go to one more, referring to the Gnostic expose of the demented father god. The Gnostics came out and they said to the early Christians, your Jehovah, your Yahweh, is not really the true creator God. He is a demented alien, right? That was the beginning of the conversation that never happened, right?
Right.
Well, what about the Star Wars, Star Myth, Sophia, Star Goddess, Star Wars? What about the Star Wars line? Luke, I am not your father.
Ooh.
That was huge. Star Wars fans were going out of their minds over that. Did he say, I am your father? Or did he say, I am not your father? Well, that's just the fucking argument, isn't it?
It is.
Is he the Almighty Father God? No, the Gnostics say, he is not your father. Gnostic intel encoded into the Mandela effect. Finally, I will come to the close because we're just at an hour. Can we go a little bit more? No, we're 51 minutes.
Can. Yeah, we're about absolutely. We can go as long as you want.
Okay. The third supercluster that I investigated, picture it as a jigsaw puzzle. I start with a central piece. The central piece was interview with a vampire, interview with the vampire. Right. And then I built other clues around that because other incidences of the Mandela effect fitted into that clue and made a coherent message. It was a warning about a vampire.
Yeah, that's so, I mean, it's just amazing as you go through these things. I get it right before you bring it out, and it's powerful.
That's often the way it works when we're talking, Gnostic language. It often works that way. It flashes the mind. It increases the velocity of your NLP and of your synaptic discharges when you talk real Gnostic intel.
It does.
That's that. So, obviously, this was a big factor because it's another warning. So, who are they warning us about? Okay. Well, that goes back to the name Mandela. Now, I can't explain here at length, but I went to the German dictionary as soon as I saw the name Mandela, which was connected to Nelson Mandela,
right,
whose name was given to the phenomenon. And I put in that word in a German dictionary. And I came up with 6 different translations of that word. And every single one of them later appeared in some variation of the Mandela effect.
It did not, John. Are you kidding me?
No, I am not. I wouldn't kid you about anything this serious. I mean it. For instance, one of the names of Mandel in German was written deeply into this code. It means
Amazing.
A set of 16 things.
Oh, there we go.
Well, in Planetary Tantra and Gnostic teaching today, there are 16 frequencies emanating from the mind of the mother planet. 16 and 16 only. So I thought, here is something that I am interpreting as a signal coming from the mind of the planet. And in the signal, she confirms that that is so by giving me the clue of a set of 16. Okay?
And John, is not a Gnostic cell composed of 16 individuals as well?
That is correct, sir.
Oh.
Now, another expression for the word, another use for the word Mandel in German is that it means a sheaf, like a sheaf of grain. If you get some grain and you cut it and you tie it together, that's a sheaf. That's a Mandel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyone who knows my work, and you'll find this in Not in His Image, there's a chapter in Not in His Image called A Sheaf of Cut Wheat.
Yep.
What is the sheaf? It's on the pediment of Eleusis. It's the symbol of the source of the entheogenic psychoactive potion that they drank based on the fermentation of rye. And so, again, pointing directly to the Gnostic mysteries. Some of the clues pointed to the Gnostic mysteries, and by extension, that points directly to her because she is the central figure of the Gnostic mysteries. Third example, I can't go through all 6 of them. Mandel in German also refers to that organ in the body called the amygdala.
Mm.
The amygdala, shaped like an almond. Okay, by the way, the almond is the yoni, or the universal symbol of the sexual organs of the Divine Mother. So almond, again, the signal points to its source. This is what you find in the supercluster, the Lucy supercluster. She's got some splaining to do, and she's splaining to you as you read the signal. How beautiful is that? I mean, how could you think of anything more playful and extravagant than reaching to us in that way and using a vulgar popular medium like pop songs and movie titles?
Can I suggest something that just hit my mind?
Sure.
You're talking about rock music. You're talking about musical. But when you said Mandel, I immediately went to George Friedrich Handel, who wrote Messiah.
There you go. That could be a possible lead.
Wow.
I don't know if any clues came up, but clues came up in pop music. I inquired of myself during this phenomenon. You could say, if you want to stretch it, that I inquired of her in a way.
Right.
Why are you using all this pop culture of America? And the answer is because everybody knows it, and it's the easiest way to reach people. It's in the attention of the collective. She wanted to get the attention of the collective. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. And, it just shows us that it's okay, and it's even advisable if a goddess, an aeon, will do it. It's okay for us to be pragmatic as well and using things that will garner the attention of individuals towards a very important message.
Yes, that's right. We use whatever methods are instructive and practical for reaching people. So she knows, because she can read the mind of the collective and the individual, and I have proof of that. She knows that the attention of most people is focused on all this superficial crap. So she said, well, why don't I reach them where their attention is focused? And that's what she did. Pop songs, Bee Gees. How deep is your love? Well, that's a valid question. I ask you, is your love deep enough to go to the source of your life and recognize what it really is?
Wow.
How deep is your love? The lines in that song changed. The lyric used to be, do you really want to know? Do you really want to know? But the Mandela alternative is, do you really mean to learn? That's a Mandela effect in the Bee Gees lyrics.
Wow.
And the other one, of course, and this can't be lost on you, Jeffrey, is from California Dreamin'. Do you know that Mandela effect?
Refresh me.
Well, the version that many people remember is, I got down on my knees and I began to pray. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Goes into the church. I got down on my knees and I began to pray.
Yep.
But what came up was residual evidence in live performances and recordings of that song where the lyrics are, I got down on my knees and I pretend to pray.
Ooh.
That was a solid hit to the so-called faith of people, telling them, are you sure your faith is real and that God and Jesus and all these things you believe in are real? Or are you just pretending?
Wow. That's a question that everybody needs to ask themselves.
Right.
And more importantly, they need to answer it.
Right. So returning to the Dracula supercluster and Mendel, there was another clue to the name Mendel. In fact, I was investigating a historical event that involves the name Mendel. And that event occurred in Russia in 1911. Now, I don't know how much I can say about this event, so I'm going to be careful.
Okay.
But let's just say that there was a child that had been abducted from a brickyard. And when they found the child, it had 13 pricks on its body, and it had been drained of blood. And this case is one of the most famous cases. It's not the only one by any means.
No.
There are many. But it was one of the most famous cases of this particular, let's say, allegation of some kind of bizarre ritual murder.
Right.
Involving white Christian children. Right?
Yep.
It was a huge scandal. It was all over the international news.
Absolutely.
And the individual who was accused of that crime was named Menachem Mendel Baylis.
Wow.
And it was called the Baylis trial. It's very, very famous. I'm surprised we're still online. Oh, we're not. We're just pre-recording.
We are.
Be prepared.
Okay.
The Baylis trial was the most famous trial ever. It had international coverage. And those who wanted to acquit him spent, get this, the equivalent in that time in rubles of $8 million.
In 1911.
In 1911, they spent $8 million to have him acquitted. And the evidence against him was, well, you can go and read the case. I've read the entire case. I've read the transcripts, the evidence of the detectives, everything. It's a remarkable case. One of the things that is most outstanding about that case was that once he was acquitted, okay, a legal precedent was set by that case, an international legal precedent, which says that no such case, no such allegation can ever again be brought before a court of law on this planet. That is a fact, my friend.
How horrific.
And so the vampire clue warned about that, because who are the vampires?
Yep.
You see? Who punctures the human body ritually? Who punctures the human body in a ritual manner?
And there's a lot of, you can read a lot of speculation and lore and study about Stoker's Dracula, the depiction of Dracula graphically. What was the vampire legend about?
Right.
Who is it? What ethnicity is it associated with? John Lamb Lash, I am just amazed. I never even expected anything remotely close to this. My mind is absolutely, completely blown away.
Well, that's what I'm here for. Finally, I have someone who will listen to me and let me blow their mind. It's like being back in the 60s, man.
Dude, this is one of the most incredible things I've ever heard. And it makes so much sense. I'm just sitting here, we won't get into my silly beliefs about it, but it just shows you from where, even when you can take the boy out of the church, but it's hard to get the church out of the boy. You look at something like the Mandela effect, you're like, oh, it comes from the bad guy. And you say, well, wait a second. Maybe it comes from the good girl.
Maybe it comes from the Divine Mother.
Yeah.
Who is here with us and who can read our minds. She created our minds. You don't think she can read our minds? Wow. I know how she can read our minds. I know the specifics of how she does it, how she gets into our NLP syntax. I've studied this with other people. I'm not some lone wacko out there on the horizon making these claims. I can substantiate everything I say about Gnostic intel and our intimate bond with the mother planet. I can do that. And it's my pleasure to do that.
It's absolutely fabulous, John. Is there anything else that you'd like to leave with us to kind of tie this together as next week we get back into our conversation that never happened?
Yes, indeed. I think it would be good to inform the readers that before we did this, we came to the knowledge that we had different views about the Mandela effect. And I said, well, let's not debate them on this talk, because that would go into long conversations and it wouldn't give me the chance to present my case. So you graciously have allowed me to present my case, but we can talk about it again and we can do more of a back and forth. And when we do that, let's go to scripture, okay?
Let's do it.
For instance, I'm sure you know, what was the most outrageous, and this is outrageous stuff because she's outrageous. What was the most outrageous alleged change in scripture that showed up? And there were many.
It has to be the replacement of the lion with the lamb to the wolf with the lamb.
There you go. Now, that's another German cue.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Because what did they call the German chancellor?
That's right. Wolf. And what did the SS from Haas Avocado, what did they have as their totemic symbol? They had the wolf.
Oh, my.
Yeah. The wolf was a powerful totemic symbol in their military. Okay. So if you go look at the Hebrew interlinear today, I don't have a Hebrew Bible, but I looked on the internet on several. Now, somebody could change it on the internet, right? This is all the speculation that was going on because it's just IT, it's just code. The word in Hebrew is Zeb, and that word means wolf. It does not mean lion. In the original Hebrew. How can that be? This was one Mandela effect that differed from many of the others in that almost everyone remembered the old effect, the lion shall lie down with the lamb. But when you go and look for it today in the Bible, in the written Bible, it doesn't say that. What is going on?
It's amazing.
And why change that? Lion, lamb, wolf. These are all clues. I just finished a 10 talk series on the lamb in the apocalypse.
Mm-hmm.
The lesser beast that comes out of the sea. The Lamb of God, of course, is a big meme in Christianity. The Lamb of God is there on the throne at the moment of the last judgment. So lion, lamb, and wolf are very powerful memes, and she activated these memes in order to bring to our attention the crucial issues that we are facing in the world today. She hacked into the internet to get our attention. That's my hypothesis.
And an amazing hypothesis it is. John, I look forward to talking with you more in the future about this specific topic and sharing a little bit about some of the conclusions that I reached on it. And I think there's a great merger. A lot of you, a little bit of me, but I think it's going to make for a much fuller understanding on everyone's part. And I thank you for being here. I know you had a really tight schedule this week. Thanks for doing this. It was tremendous. And we look forward to coming back again next week. We'll get back into our conversation that never happened. Ladies and gentlemen, this is John Lamb Lash. You know where to find him. John, we appreciate you so much for being here. Thank you very, very much.
Appreciate you too, my friend. See you around.
All right, and we'll talk to you later. Take care.
Okay, ciao.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and take a break, and we'll be right back after this word from our sponsors with your phone calls for the rest of the program. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. It's late night in the Heartland, and we'll see you right after this. See, that was that quick of a change. I just went and changed my coat. It was that quick of a break, and we're right back. I told you guys. Did I not tell you that this would absolutely blow your freaking mind? Did I not tell you it was going to absolutely blow your minds? And have I not absolutely blown your minds? Has not John Lash Lamb absolutely blown your minds? And Joel, I'm not saying anything to you, but I am just saying, can you send me receipts that the NWT has Lion still? Can you send me receipts? Because I just don't think, I find it hard to believe that. I really do. I find it hard to believe that. So, ladies and gentlemen, how amazing was that? Wow. We will together have a talk about my conclusions on Mandela effect. And mine are mainly silly compared to John's, but there's a couple of things that really play in together and really come in together, and it's going to be amazing. Tortured Soldier says it blew his nez. Jason says, wow, absolutely. Mile totally resonates. I was wondering for a while these messages were from our real home. Amazing, amazing stuff. And I'm telling you, I've never heard anything like it. And this guy's amazing. And he has inspired me to get back to the grindstone, my nose to the grindstone, and go back to work because, wow, just incredible stuff. So that's one of the reasons why we're going to be on terrestrial radio in all of the state of Utah. We're also going to be on terrestrial radio now here in Kansas City, in the state of Georgia, and in Knoxville, Tennessee. So we're going to be reaching out with this message to many, many more people. And we are trying, we'd like to have subscribers. That's fun. That's nice. But what we really want to do is get this message out to more people because the time is drawing close. I'm not sure what Jennifer says she wants my opinion on. Jennifer, what do you want my opinion on? No, that dress does not make your butt look fat. It doesn't. I promise you. So why don't we go ahead and open the phone lines and let's take some calls. It's my favorite time of the show. We just ask you to be interesting. We ask you to be polite. And we ask you to get to the damn point and not him and haw around. And if you can help it, don't ask me how I'm doing, because you already know I'm doing fantastic. Don't waste your time asking that on the call. So, ladies and gentlemen, the phone lines are open, 913-279-0831, 913-279-0831. And we look forward to hearing from you. And we do not like, and we do not typically honor questions in the chat room. Oh, that's terrible. That's horrible. No, Jennifer. I don't think they are now. After listening to John Lamb Lash, I think he's hit it dead on. We're so programmed because most of us were raised within a Judeo-Christian. Most of us are still under Stockholm Syndrome from the fear and guilt, blood magic, trauma-based mind control matrix that is Judeo-Christianity. So we always think that when things happen, oh, it's got to be the devil. No, it was the opposite, Jennifer. This is from the goddess Sophia, Mother Earth herself, and she's telling us, folks, she's telling us, I know it looks bad. She's telling us, I know you guys are hurting right now. I know you guys are worried right now, but I am with you, and I am going to empower you. I am your foundation, literally and spiritually, and you have what you need to win this victory. Of course, John compared it to a horse race and said we'll win by a gnosis. I am more inspired and more optimistic than ever before that we are going to win this battle. Mile, I agree with you. Every little thing's going to be all right, ladies and gentlemen. Lisa loves it. So do I. The phone lines are open. 913-279-0831. 913-279-0831. I also needed to thank WC Trust for a nice $25 donation. We really appreciate that very, very much. I appreciate all of you that take the time to and give of your sustenance. We appreciate it. And let me go ahead and get the phone set up. I'm just was so excited, was talking, didn't get things set up the way they need to be, but we're going to do it right here, right now. Turn that up right there. Okay, boom, bada binga, bada bang. I think we got it. Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
It's Catherine.
Catherine, where the hell you been, girl?
I don't know. I'm a little salty. You haven't written me back, so.
Oh, I didn't write you back?
No.
Oh, dude, sorry. I thought I did write you back. In my head, I wrote you back, but I must not have pressed send.
Well, I think we're coming to a time where that might actually be the next email,
What might be the next email?
Telepathic communication.
Ooh, how about that? How about that? Before you get into your subject, what did you think about John Lamb Lash and the Mandela effect?
Well, I was actually calling about that.
And what do you think about these sexy damn glasses right here? Isn't that hot?
Well, I'll tell you, they're great, and I'd order them if I could wear them over my glasses.
Oh, that's funny. All righty. Yeah. So hit me with your question.
So JLL, I guess I'll give my perspective. I found him when he was creating that series.
Oh, did you?
Because I was freshly affected. And he woke me up to so much.
Wow.
It was amazing. And then when I found you verified it. So that's why I wanted you guys to get together.
Oh, thank you.
It's been amazing. Yeah.
And awesome. It's just getting started, Catherine. I really have that belief.
Mm-hmm. You guys could possibly, save the whole planet.
Well, that's the plan. That's what we're here for.
Yep. So she talks to all of us. I just want to let everyone out there know that if you are experiencing the Mandela effect, she's speaking to you directly, and that the Gnostics were special because they had direct experiences. They didn't get this info out of some book.
So well stated, Catherine. Yeah, Gnosticism is experiential and individually experiential.
Right. So Here's what I think is going on, because everything indicates that going within creates our reality. And what I think it does is, what you hold, or what you hold is true, or where you turn your attention is where you land on the great multiverse, the many parallels of options. And the Mandela effect shows us that these timelines are coming together too. And people in the community, like myself, we are traveling from place to place. I mean, there's physical changes. It's not just the internet for people like me, at least.
So let me stop you. What do you mean by that? Number one, what do you mean by people that are you said people that are in the something like me, and then you said you're actually physically traveling?
Yeah. Well, okay. So it's not physical, it's consciousness travel, right?
Okay.
Okay. Like, here's a great example. One day I woke up and I had this scar on my thumb, and it looked like a cross in a circle.
Oh, shit.
And it was old. It was an old scar. And I was like, oh my gosh, what the world? Whoa. So then it was there for like a week and a half, and it disappeared one day.
Oh,
well, I had taken a photo of it, and I still have this photo, which is weird.
But you don't have the scar anymore.
It's gone, yeah. So the scar, I think, was a hot screw that touched it. I thought maybe I got marked by some group or something. It really freaked me out. I didn't know what to do. But the photo I have is blurring where the scar is. Everything else is clear. So it's like,
whoa.
Yeah, I don't even know. It's very quantum. It's very strange, and but also fascinating, because what a journey we're all on.
It's amazing. It's honestly amazing. Do you think that any of us will physically move from one location to another without moving from one location to another?
What do you mean? Like,
I mean, like you wake up and you're in Seattle instead of Ohio.
I don't think it works like that. Like, there's like a nexus point thing. So if you ever watch Daugherty Rose, who does the D-Wave computers that are quantum, he talks about there's nexus points, right, where things line up, and then they veer off from that. And that's how those computers talk, through the nexus points.
That's and also I've received a couple of emails from people that are like, dude, my husband is not my husband. My wife is not my wife.
Yeah,
crazy.
Because you're in a new timeline. I mean, there's this thing happens to me constantly.
Okay, so you're not changing location, you're just changing timeline.
Huh?
You're not changing location, you're just changing timeline.
Right. So that you're in a new container. Like, as soon as people can let go of the idea that you are your body, the better things are. Yeah. Like, just accept that you have experiences. And I really think this is going on all the time for everyone. It's just that people are waking up to the differences, because I think that Gaia is speaking to all of us. So getting out to nature, it's a great season. If you just sit there and you just open yourself up to
just
her,
listen.
She will talk to you.
Listen to your mother.
Huh?
Listen to your mother.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had hummingbirds flank me in these moments and speak to me.
So you're like Snow White. You're out there and all the bunnies are hopping up and the birds are flitting around.
Yeah, I mean, that's all her speaking to, and it's just, it's like, it's wordless, it's emotion, but everybody can do this if they try. It's not like just something for special people with robes or something.
No, but it is for special people that want it and that are open to it, and I think it's people that have purified themselves from that blood-borne pathogen, which is the fear and guilt, blood magic, trauma-based mind control matrix.
Yeah, absolutely.
You cannot do this with blood, with any of the blood virus in you.
No, you can't. And the Gnostics, they speak directly about the archons and the Nag Hammadi, and they came to that knowledge just directly.
They absolutely
maybe Gaia told
did.
them. I don't know. But
they absolutely did. It's amazing. And Catherine, I'm looking so forward to, one of the reasons that we're going on to terrestrial radio is, number one, they made me an insanely great deal because another broadcaster backed out on them. But it's going to create the state of Utah is the first, and Vegas are the first places we're going, and that'll allow us to build up, a sizable audience in those places, and we can actually go to Utah and have a meeting where we can actually meet each other face to face and dance naked around a fire in the forest and stuff like that.
Exactly. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Hey, I wanted to, did you notice that John mentioned vagina and then he just dropped it? I wanted a little follow up on the vagina.
I was like, yeah, vaginas.
How about following up on the vagina, John?
He's such a gentleman, though, in a way, but he's a bit naughty too.
Never leave a vagina hanging. That's my clue.
Right. I'm out. I'll see you later.
Take care.
Bye.
Okay. Thanks for holding. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Oh, hi, Jeff. Let me turn the thing off. A couple of things I want to talk to you about. I wanted to bring up with John tonight that, that movie Lucy? That was a real strange movie.
Was that the one with Johansson?
Yes.
I watched it, but I can't hardly remember the damn thing.
I know, but it was a terrible movie. But whenever they come out with Lucy, they always refer to something else usually.
Yeah.
She had superpowers. And the other thing I wanted to thank you for having Mike King on the other night.
He's the best.
I got useful. I went and ordered his things.
Perfect.
I went and ordered all his PDFs and everything to help support him. And I loved what he said about the polar bears because I care about the animals a lot. And that was the best information I had. They don't care about animals anyway.
Who doesn't love polar bears?
No. I do. And I loved what Mike had to say about them.
Hey, I have a polar bear joke for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, and I have one more thing to say after the polar bear joke. That's important.
Go ahead and say your point first, and I'll hit you with the polar bear joke.
Okay. It's where I live. I moved to a new place because I'm building a small house, and in this town, the churches have giant 50-foot lopsided crosses, which are sigils, right?
Whoa!
And they're all next to medical buildings.
Whoa, that's crazy, dude.
And I feel so happy. I've been watching you for 6 or 7 years. Like, they don't affect me, thank God, but they affect people, and they're right next to medical buildings. Big 50-foot lopsided crosses. That's a sigil.
That is
they know what they're doing.
Hang on to that. You're good. Okay, you like polar bears, so here's a polar bear joke. Do you know how you catch a polar bear?
How?
Well, you dig a great big hole in the ice, and you put peas around the edge of the hole. And when the polar bear comes out to take a pee, you kick him in the ice hole. And with that, we appreciate you. Thanks for calling. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, this is Ron in Bangladesh, and I have a statement on the white, fuzzy, and a question, really. I want to draw out, if you can, when I'll hang up.
Okay.
And you can go into more about that. But I live in a place where I'm an extremely odd white man.
Right.
And everyone here is very dark skinned, if not jet black.
Right.
And all the women who put cream on, if they have the money, to whiten their skin. And white is like in here. And I have people come up and just stare at me constantly, like they've never seen one of me.
Right.
And then they look me in the eyes and they freak out and run away. And it's a this message tonight with John Lamb helped me comprehend what the heck is happening with this. So anyway, that's all, Jeffrey.
Thank you so much for calling in from Bangladesh. We really appreciate you. And by the way, that story that I tell about the guy that came up and got prayed for and didn't have any eyes, and they started fluttering, and he actually grew eyes, and they were blue eyes, and he was healed. That guy was from Bangladesh. We were in Morocco, I believe, is where we actually had that meeting, but he was from Bangladesh, and he came up to be prayed for. Hey, he's blind. Will you pray for him? I didn't realize the brother didn't have no eyes at all, but it worked out in the end. So every time I hear Bangladesh, it brings me back to a nice memory. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Jeffrey, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing?
I am doing very well. I just have a quick question. I'm looking this up online. Masoretic vowels in Hebrew, 7 to 800, 900 AD. Is that correct? It's looking like that's what everyone's saying.
Say that again.
The vowels in Hebrew, they're modern.
The vowels?
Not old. Yeah.
Is that what you said? The vowels?
The vowels, total marks, you know?
Yeah, there's actually in the original Hebrew, there aren't any vowels. So there's that. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeffrey, Shane and Polk Ship. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Anyway, sorry to ask you that.
That's all right. It's a habit. I understand.
Hey, exactly. Hey, I wish John was on the phone. I've got a pertinent question. I feel in the sense that looking back at the Mandela effect and the timeline of when that was really introduced to the mainstream, or when it first came on my radar, was late 2014, 2015. At the same time, the flat Earth revelation was also being.
Oh, was it?
Yes, at the exact same time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Back and forth, but yes, it was a back and forth between Mandela effect and flat Earth when all of this stuff, and there were a few other things that were coming out at the same time. So my curiosity is, based on what John was saying and how Sophia is really birthing these, how I understood it, these concepts to mainstream humanity.
Oh, so you're suggesting that maybe she's telling us the Earth is flat.
That's kind of where I'm going with this.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
It was flat Earth concept at the same time. That's all I wanted to. And I wish John was
brilliant. I'll ask John that. I'll ask him that.
Yeah, please.
Because I don't think that the Earth is a spinning ball. I really don't. Everything I look, everything I see, everything I observe, and it's observing nature, which is our mother goddess, and I don't see the curve, and the numbers don't add up, and most of those numbers come from the usual suspects. So I think you're onto something.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
Can I say one more thing about that? All right. So we were at a natural spring today, filling up dozens and dozens and dozens of gallons of water. It's what
excellent.
We do on a weekly basis. And I started cracking up laughing. I was just sitting there holding, it becomes repetitive, right? It's all right, hold it down, it fills up, years ago. And I started busting up laughing, and my lady friend was like, what's so funny? And I thought, just think about it logically. How could this pressurized natural organic spring be continuously filling, no electronic pumps, no nothing? How could it continuously be feeding us this water if we were, spinning 1,000 miles an hour on our axis, hurling through a space at, 666? It just doesn't add up. And
it doesn't add up.
A bunch of fucking idiots. I'm not a flat Earth proponent, but all of the components of their mathematics do not add up. So, Jeffrey, with you being a voice, I don't know if you're familiar with Brian Mullins and a lot of the things that he was doing.
I'm not. I don't know who that is.
Okay, so you could look up. It was hashtag press the line.
Well, let's don't get lost in the weeds on that. Go ahead and finish your point.
He came up with a great experiment. Very simple, profound experiment that we could prove the curvature of the Earth and prove that what the size of the Earth is, or if it's a flat plane. Very, very simple. And he lays it out. So,
okay,
Brian Mullins, prove the line, press the line, something like that. But when he came out on YouTube and pushed for this, and he was a proponent back in, let's say, 2017, 2018. But he had a high-level job in engineering, and he was of a mind that could really, he said, here's how we can prove it. And he had a decision to make: lose your job or cancel your social media accounts and stop talking about flat Earth. The reason I say it's a real simple experiment that I think that we should, and actually I think there is GoFundMe or some kind of fundraising account, and there are people in Scotland trying to do this right now. And Brian Mullins wanted to do it all over the planet on different, and it could be in a historical site, and you could ride your bike down this 2-mile path anywhere on the planet and prove the curvature or non-curvature of the Earth.
Sounds amazing. I'm going to look into it. Because that sounds very, very interesting. And if we could do that, that might be something that I'd be willing to jump ahead with and be a part of. So we appreciate that input very, very much. Remember, this is not a Flat Earth show tonight, so let's not go crazy on it. But if you have any questions, if you have any comments, please go ahead and pick up the phone and call at 913-279-0831, 913-279-0831. Next week will be our last week broadcasting like we're doing here from 10 till midnight Central Time. It'll probably be starting next week, maybe 10 to 11:30, because we'll have to go ahead and drop off here because I have to do some different adjustments and open up some different virtual software and things like that to be able to get get myself ready for the radio shows. We start off with one station. It looks like we're going to begin with at least 4 stations now, and we're really reaching out. And I'll be right back at midnight. You can watch it just like this, or you can listen on the internet to the radio stations, or if you're in one of the cities, you can listen, of course, right online. That'll be anywhere in Utah, Las Vegas. I can't remember the city in Georgia right now, and the Knoxville, Tennessee area. So we're looking forward to that next week, ladies and gentlemen. Or not next week, week after next. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Iris in Colorado.
Hi, Iris.
I was calling regarding Robert's family last night and his concern for safety and also protection for you.
Thank you.
And so I've kept you in my thoughts. And also I just want to bring up a thing about my father. He called, instead of using God, he used the name Supreme Being. And that's who was in charge of, the world and whatever.
I like
that.
He
believed. So I thought for a name, and that was, my dad passed away 30 years ago. And he had pneumonia, and the doctor revived him, and he said, "No, doctor, stop." And so whatever he saw on the other side, he went.
Wow.
So anyway, my dad was kind of like, he reminded me of my dad. He used a lot of terms that he uses, and my dad was very intelligent, and my friends used to call him a philosopher.
Oh, that's funny.
But anyway, I think a Supreme Being would be perfect because, obviously somebody's supreme.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. I like that terminology.
Yeah. Anyway, just thought I'd let you know, and I've been thinking, keeping you and Robert on my mind and keeping you protected.
Well, I appreciate that very much. Thank you, and thanks for calling. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, Jeff, fantastic interview with John, and so much was covered. My mind was blown by so many different things.
Dude, I can't believe where he went with that. It makes so much sense to people that know, but who knew that that's what it was? It's just freaking amazing.
The caller previous, before the one before me, I was thinking about the movie The Fifth Element, how Fifth Element is a supreme being, and that element is love.
Ooh, I like that. And man, these glasses are so comfortable. They really are.
Yeah.
They're more comfortable
blue
than
light blocking.
They're blue light blocking glasses. That's why I got them and make it available to everybody.
Very cool. I'm glad that you're getting some new product ideas. And
it was my son's idea. I'm like, you know what? That's a great idea. Let's do it.
Yes, sir. And Catherine and I are going to be working on getting our channel going before too long, and really looking forward to maybe trying to do some networking.
Absolutely. We'll be all for that. I'll do anything I can to help you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Just don't call me sir again. Hi. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You do need to rewatch this one, G. Monaco. This is one that you got to watch. And Tom, you asked the $1 million question. Tom says, somebody tell me why I went to school. If you're young, or if you're thinking about going to school, don't. If you're going to go to school, go to a technical school where you will learn a specific craft, a specific skill, because all school is now is a way to further indoctrinate you, to further alienate you, and to further get you away from your great basic purpose and to keep you working for the man every night and day when you should be rolling on the river. Don't go to church or school. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Shut up.
It's good, Dagger.
I know who it is.
I was trying to think what I was gonna call about, but
Tenebris ain't going to school, and you're gonna hear from him again. Go over and it's TENBRIS. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. I like him. He's not going to church. He's not going to school. That's why he's so cool. Anyway, what's up, Get Dagger?
Yeah, I don't go to school either. I don't go to church anymore either. He's a
good
smart
for you.
Man.
Yeah.
So what Iris is saying, I just wanted to kind of a lot of parallels to my dad. Actually, he's a very smart man and had pneumonia as well. But I mean, when you're smart, you do a lot of dumb things. Like I know there's a lot of things he could be doing that, and he's just very stubborn. I actually talked about to my mom to call his doctor to mention about oxygen therapy because I heard that was really good for you.
Oh yeah, I have heard that too.
Yeah, so I was like, she's like, well, let's ask the nurse, and I'm like, oh, this guy. So he goes to me, he's like, well, I don't think he really needs it because he doesn't have COPD, and I'm like, yeah, actually he does. And he's like, oh yeah, but he's out of breath in that. He's not out of breath in that. Well, yeah, because he's taking the inhaler. I'm like, Mom, don't listen to this idiot. I said, let's just call the doctor and ask about it. I mean, like, if it's going to be like, they're going to give him IV, I'm like, I'd rather him get oxygen therapy because not only will it make him like, give him more energy, but it'll make him feel better than that because he feels like shit. So I'm like, this guy, like I said, wears a mask and a friggin' face shield. So I mean, like, I don't want this guy's opinion. So I didn't say that to my mom, but yeah, I want to talk to the doctor directly. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting on his mentality, anyways.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%, man.
Oh, for sure. And I just want to say that John Lamb Lash is like, I have to watch this again because just so much information and just trying to catch everything. You have to listen to it twice because there's just so many nuggets. It was just an awesome show as always.
It's beautiful. And remember, Get Dagger, they're just practicing medicine. Let me know when you get that shit down.
Yeah, no doubt. No, I'm all about not like I haven't seen a doctor since I got in my accident in 2004. And like I haven't taken any shots, no nothing. I've been doing everything my own way, and I'm pretty much except for obviously my head injury and that. And I'm pretty good. And no shots, no nothing. Not taking any crap, and I hardly take any medicine when I have a headache. I don't take any pills or nothing. So
excellent.
I don't exactly. I don't recommend anybody take because I know my dad's taking pills like crazy. Don't rely on doctors. Do your own research. Do the natural way, and that's helped me along the way. Like that's I've been doing that, like I said, since 2004. So,
well, great call as usual, Get Dagger. We appreciate it so much. Kira says she bought the book, Not in His Image. What a really, really great book, Kira. I'm warning you. Have some time before you sit down to read it because you can't just put that book down. And it is just so amazing. It's really a powerful, powerful book, and it'll change your life. There's not many books that I've read that are life changing, but that one's definitely life changing. And we need to start doing a series on Mein Kampf. I don't know how I can do that without getting thrown off of everything, but Mein Kampf, brilliant book. And if you actually read it, you would say, oh, I get it. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, there's that. Oh boy. Some people's kids, I tell you, can't take them anywhere. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. Oh, that's cute. That's real cute. Anyway, this book is a pick a page and read. Maybe Zoom meetings, Jeff. I don't know what that means. But yeah, let me know what you mean by that. Number one is the Bible. Dude, are you serious? Number one, the Bible is boring. Oh, come on, Brandon. You can do better than that. You really think the Bible's a good book to read? The Bible is great for starting fires, covering stains on your coffee table, holding open a door. The Bible would be very good for holding up a door. Maybe if you had a table that had one leg that was like really short, or you had a hole in the floor, you could cover up the hole in the floor with the Bible. And maybe if you were sitting on something hard and you didn't want to hurt your ass, you could put the Bible under there to save your ass. Or like Gaia Sophia says, the Bible makes great toilet paper. And I've heard you can roll one hell of a joint with the Bible papers because they're really thin and shit. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hi, Jeffrey. This is Gail from Colorado. And
Hi, Gail.
I'm a first-time caller. I've been watching you for, I don't know, about 6 months. I kind of stumbled upon you and really thought it was a synchronicity.
Well, it was.
And yeah, absolutely. And listening to John Lamb Lash is very interesting. I'm fairly new to this stuff. I was in New Age for about 30 years and then just had a really weird experience, went back into Christianity and then lost all my power. So I'm just, like, coming back out of that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's been very interesting. And so listening to the Mandela effect tonight, I got really lost because I'm not familiar with that. And so I'm going to do some more research on that and continue to listen to John Lamb Lash. I looked him up on YouTube and saw a lot of his stuff. So, just trying to figure it out as far as, just being in that a place of love and light and not losing that and getting back into Christianity. I mean, because we're so indoctrinated, even saying that is still very hard. Being back into Christianity, I felt very unempowered.
Well, that's exactly what it's supposed to do to you. You see that now,
right? I'm thinking, yeah.
They don't want power. The only thing they want less in Christianity, the only thing they want less of in Christianity than powerful men is powerful women, because your ass is supposed to be in the kitchen making a sandwich anyway. You follow me?
Like I said, yeah. I mean, I think I had to be in a place of love and light, and then think that it's like I got tricked. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because it's like, I know you had a show about malware before. Yeah. That Christianity is malware, and that's kind of how I felt. Like this malware came in and said, "No, you're listening to the wrong thing. You're going to, go to hell." And so I freaked out and just started, I bought a Bible, started reading it, started going, I went to church and I just went, wait a minute. What's going on here? I'm not feeling any love. All I'm feeling is fear.
Yep. Well, that's why I call it the fear and guilt, blood magic, trauma-based, mind control matrix. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, cuz, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Fish?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How about you, my brother?
I'm not too good, man, but I'm still trying. The foot is still sore. I'm not getting along too good.
Well, don't give up.
But no, I'm not giving up. But I wanted to bring something up. My dad died like in end of January, February here.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry to hear that.
And my sister died before him, my oldest sister. So I'm going through our family tree and talking to some of the family and everything. And wow, my grandpa on my dad's side had his right leg amputated. The same place I did.
Wow.
Almost the same date. And everybody always told me I look like my dad.
Dude, that's crazy.
That fell in the, the system. Was I in the system to lose this all along or what?
Dude, that is crazy.
It freaked me out. My, Papa, I didn't even know he had a wooden leg. But back then they were wooden. These are steel now these days.
Yeah.
But, I wanted to tell you, man, sorry about Michael. I didn't mean to piss you off. I thought maybe you'd get a kick out of that,
About what?
Calling, saying Michael, I was fucking around. Just, fucking around on Friday.
No, I didn't hear. All I heard was buttons being pushed. I didn't hear anything. It just sounded like somebody was hitting the.
It was before that, cuz.
Oh, okay.
But,
I'm sorry.
I wanted to let you know that I also found something else out, that when you're fact checked from a certain place, it doesn't necessarily have to be somebody that you don't know, and you'll never guess who my fact checkers are.
Oh, interesting.
My two sons and my ex-neighbor that was into Jesus, and I kind of wanted to blow him away, So he moved, and here he became a fact checker, and my sons.
Interesting.
So as soon as I get out of jail, I've been in jail for 120 days almost.
Oh, dude.
As soon as I get out of jail, I'm becoming a fact checker.
Well, hey, man.
So,
keep it.
Got to pull it together somehow.
Absolutely. Keep it between the lines, man, and watch your back. It's Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. I didn't know he was in jail.
I love answering, getting the phone answered, watch your back. I love it.
Well, it's never bad advice.
Yeah, well, that's true. Hey, Shane, again, here's a potential show that maybe you could do in this, like the last caller or two callers ago brought up the similarity between his amputation date and that correlating with somebody in his ancestry. Have you come across things like David Wilcox looking like Edgar Casey, and then him going through his lineage and saying, here's my dad, here's Edgar Casey's dad, and they look identical, and then here's my best friend, and here's Edgar Casey's best friend. They look.
I'm sorry, but I can't. When as soon as you said David Wilcock, Edgar Casey, I threw up in my mouth a little bit. So I mean, no, not only no, but hell no, dude. He's not. He is the chief of shills. He's the chief of dumbasses. You know better than that. And it wasn't against you that I hung up. It was just I couldn't stand. If I heard the name David Wilcock one more time, I was going to throw up all over the desk, and I don't want to have to clean it up. So don't fucking mention David Wilcock. What a shillcock. What a piece. Yeah. Anyway, whoo! I feel better. I had to get that off my chest. Aye, ladies and gentlemen. So I can't believe Fish is in jail. How the hell do you get in jail when you had your leg amputated, man? You know how big of a badass you got to be to go to jail with an amputated leg? That's a badass. I'm not worried about Fish for a minute. I think he'll be fine. And I'm glad to know he can listen to me in jail. We need to have a jail outreach. How the hell do you go to jail when you're a badass? If you have amputated leg and you wind up in jail, you're a badass. You are a badass. Guy outed Shillcock. Oh, how about that? That's interesting. Well, it's not that hard to do that. All right. Hopefully this will be a good call. Late Night in the Heartland, you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Yeah, Jeffrey, I'm still a badass, but I'll tell you what, I'm not in real jail. I'm in the FB jail.
Oh, I thought you meant real jail.
No. Christ, they wouldn't take me to jail. I'd give them a hell of a night. You know what I mean?
That's what I thought. I'm like, how'd they get him in jail? He'd be burning that shit down. I got you.
I ain't scared of nobody.
No.
And I've always got people's back.
So you're in Facebook jail.
I'm going to tell you one thing I learned today. You better stock up on food because we ain't going to have no food.
You know what, Fish? My wife was just telling me before I came on the air that she said there's a lot of reports around the country that a lot of the shelves are not stocked like they used to be. I've been telling you for a year at least, guys, get yourself at least a couple of months of food, water, bullets, bacon, stuff like that put away.
Yep. I agree with you. You know what else?
Hey, get yourself one of these badass knives right here, baby. You'll love it. I love it. I can't wait to chop somebody's head off with this.
I got enough here to start mounting it on board a ship.
Me too.
You know, I mean, I don't need to worry about that. But I was thinking about something one day, and God, it just slipped my mind. You the man. I mean, was you on another show?
Not lately, but I'm going to be on Adam Green here in a couple weeks.
Did I see you on a show last night, maybe retaped or something without glasses?
You could have. And these are just computer glasses. Is that a knife or is that a knife? That's a knife, baby.
They said I could have swore he said it was Jeffrey Daugherty.
Could have been.
And I was like, whoa, it is. It was two guys talking to you. Oh, look at that. That is fucking sweet.
Did everybody see what Azra said?
You call that a knife?
Dude, I love that knife. Isn't that awesome?
You should see mine.
It's even bigger?
Mine's got a fucking 22 soldered to the fucking knife, man.
Dude.
I can shoot you then stab you.
Yeah, exactly. But if it comes to it, if somehow you get through my other defenses, I still got that to bring up.
Okay, and that's what you call having my 6, and I want to let everybody know I got your 6.
I appreciate it, Fish. I know you do, brother. I know you do. And with that, now that I know that Fish has my 6 and that Azra wants to see it out of the sheath, I am all good, ladies and gentlemen. That's what I call a good night and a strong finish. And we can add to that the Kira says, I want one. That's a night, baby. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. I appreciate every single one of you. This was a really cool night. I'm going on with Adam Seaside Douglas. And I'm not even going to hide it. I'm really hoping that I can get Christopher Bjerknes on as well at some point, because I'm reading his book now, Beware the New World or something like that. Amazing book. And I don't agree with everything he says, but I would love to get him on. Kira, you need to get you some more ammo. 6 boxes, that ain't enough. And we want you to be sticking around. Size does matter, apparently, says Tom. That's what I hear. So, hey, anyway, you guys, I appreciate every single one of you. We had a good time tonight. And if you didn't have a good time tonight, it's your fault, because we had all the elements for a good time here. And we are just getting started, ladies and gentlemen. We are just getting started. I love this late night in the Heartland family. I didn't save you, Grammy. I just showed you how to save you. We appreciate you all so much. I'm glad that Fish isn't in real jail, but it was kind of a cool thought. I'm like, damn, he's a badass, but he is still a badass, as he said, ladies and gentlemen. And you're all badasses. If you're here, you're a badass. 100%. It's late night in the Heartland. Thank you for making my day. We'll see you Monday and before then.